Hey, morning, y'all. Welcome to this week's edition of Morning Brew. I'm always excited when I have the opportunity to do this, to share scripture, because it's just a chance to kind of share what God's showing me and things I'm seeing with everybody else, and hoping that it challenges you to dig into the scripture and look harder yourself and see what God's speaking to you about. It was cool last week. I was doing my own study. And my wife likes to send me text messages in the morning of what she's been studying. And she sends me these two scriptures, and these are the two scriptures I'm going to hit on today. The first one is Colossians 1:17, and the second one is Matthew 6:33. So when you read Colossians 1:17, when I read the scripture, you're going to, you'll recognize it. I mean, it's a scripture used often. And it says, "He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." You know, there's a couple reasons why that scripture really hit home with me. And you look at the state of affairs today and what's going on. And when you look at that scripture and you just take the time to really chew on it and think about what's really being said, it says he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. I can stress out about tomorrow. I can stress out about what's ahead today. I can stress out about what's ahead in my future. But when I put this scripture and apply it to my life and realize that he is before all things, he understands what's coming. He's been through what I've been facing, the stress, the anxiety, the troubles, the joys, the hurts, the excitements, all these emotions that we experience on a day-to-day basis. He's been there. And even more so when you think about, I mean, I could go on all day about the pressure and stress that he was under, and then leading up to the crucifixion of Jesus, his crucifixion. And so when you read that scripture, he is before all things and in all things hold together. When I start my day out thinking of that scripture, it puts things in a different perspective, a lot less selfish perspective. My encounters every day, I say a lot when I speak about being deliberate and intentional. It reminds me that I need to be more deliberate in my day and understand that the things I come across and the things I face, God knows about them. He's aware of them. He knows how to get through them. He knows how to comprehend them. He knows how to process them, help us process them. Of course, he knows how to process, but knows how to help us to process what we experience day to day. In reading about that, it led to the next scripture, which is Matthew 6:33. In Matthew 6:33, and this verse is also a well-quoted, often used verse during messages and devotionals, but it's another powerful verse, and these are the words of Jesus. And he says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." So when I read those two scriptures together and I started to process the thought, I realized how important it is for me to place Jesus first in my life. Because he's before all things and he understands what I'm about to face. And then the second thing is putting him first in my life. I look at, putting Christ first in our life is as important, if not more important, the idea of that I have to take in water daily in order to survive, right? I have to put water in my body for my body to function properly. Well, if we look at that same concept, with Jesus in the scriptures, man, we're not going to want to go without. For instance, Jesus fasted for 40 days. Food is a necessity, but it's something you can go without. Water, you cannot go without. Without water, your body starts to shut down and fail. Well, man, without Jesus being first and understanding that he's before all things and understands all things, and if we don't go through our days applying those scriptures to our life, well, man, we're going to shut down. Our spirit's going to grow tired. Our spirit's going to grow weak. And then the things that we struggle with in the flesh, the sin, the temptations, the frustrations, the anxieties are going to overtake us because we've allowed the spirit become weak. So this is what I'd like you to do this week for the morning brew and to apply throughout the week. Take Colossians 1:17 and Matthew 6:33 and chew on those in the morning before you start your day. And then whatever scripture God leads you into after that, I encourage you to share it. I mean, you're able to comment, send email in, comment on the Facebook page and in the post. But really, let's understand that Jesus holds all things together, right? And he's before all things. And that if we seek him first, his kingdom, his righteousness, his heart, that everything else will fall into line. Everything else will be understood. Everything else we'll be able to understand and handle and push through and become stronger. So I just encourage you this week to just really dig into the word and put him first. And thanks for joining us this week on Morning Brew. And again, Colossians 1:17 and Matthew 6:33. Have a blessed week. Love y'all.